my channel. So I wore this makeup look on my Snapchat, I think it was last week, and so many of you guys were like, do that makeup look. And I've also, on Instagram, everyone was asking me to do my pool party makeup from Vegas. So makeup that lasts in the heat all day. And yeah, basically this is what I wore. So I decided to do the eye makeup from my Snapchat because I thought it's very summery, very appropriate, and quite pool party. So yeah, I've done that eye and lip, and then I've done my base and skin as I would have done in Vegas in 40-degree heat at a pool party, which I must add lasted all day. Now, if you didn't want to wear eyeshadow, which I actually didn't in Vegas, I just wore liner, and because I had my shades on all day, so I just wore liner and a bold lip, and I made sure it was a matte lip as well. So if you don't want to do eyeshadow at a pool party, or if you're not at a pool party and you just want to have like a good base on that's gonna last on your holiday, then yeah, go ahead and do that. Otherwise, if you want to glam it up a little bit, you can go ahead and do this. So yeah, I really hope you enjoy this makeup look. I personally love this makeup look so much, so I'm so happy to be recreating it for you guys. But if you'd like to know how I got this look, then please keep on watching. Okay guys, first things first, it is so important to use a sun protector, a sunblock, and I love this Kiehl's Ultra Defense one. It's fantastic. Then onto the makeup. I always like to start with my eyes first, just in case there's any fallout or anything like that. I do already have my brows done, but yeah. So I'm just applying Soft Ochre by MAC, which is a paint pot, and it's going to act as a base for our eyeshadows, help them last a lot longer and give them something to stick to. Then I've got my Laura Mercier translucent powder. I'm just taking this through the crease and a bit above it, and this is just so that any eyeshadows that we apply on top of it will blend beautifully, and they kind of won't get stuck to the paint pot, if that makes sense. Then for our transitional blending shade, this is Creme Brulee by Makeup Geek. This is the shade that is in the background that doesn't look like it's doing much, but it's there and it does so much. It's the eyeshadow that everything else is going to blend into on the crease, and yeah, it's very important. So yeah, I like to apply this in the crease and above it, and I just keep building it up until I'm happy with it. Then I'm going into my Anastasia Beverly Hills Modern Renaissance palette, and I'm taking the shade Red Ochre, and on a tapered blending brush I am just taking this through the crease only. So I'm being really careful with where and how I place it, and as you can see, I'm taking it in windscreen wiper motions back and forth, and then when I want to blend it slightly higher, I take it in really small circular motions, but still through the crease, if that makes sense. And yeah, we don't want to take the shade up too high. Then I'm taking the shade Bitten by Makeup Geek, and on a pencil brush I'm just taking this on the inner and outer corners. So we're going to be creating a spotlight eye, and I absolutely love spotlight eyes. But yeah, I'm just building this up until I get it looking as dark and intense as I want, and then going in with a blending brush to kind of soften it all up and making sure the two ends meet in the center a little bit. Now for the centre of the eye, or shall we say spotlight, I'm taking this foiled eyeshadow by Makeup Geek, and this is in the shade Grandstand, and on a flat shader brush I am just placing this on the centre of the eye, so where my pupil is kind of, it gives me a guideline as to where the centre of my eye is. And yeah, I'm just patting this on and then going back in with my pencil brush with the shade Bitten on it, but no extra product, and the fluffy blending brush, just to make sure it's kind of like all blended out and it looks seamless. We don't want to block in the middle, we want it to look blended. And then just to brighten it up a little bit further, I'm taking this gorgeous pigment by Makeup Geek in the shade Afterglow, and I'm just patting this over the top of that Grandstand eyeshadow, and as you can see, I'm just kind of like feathering it out a little bit, so again it looks nice and blended. That is the key with any makeup look. Moving on to the skin, I've got my Marc Jacobs Coconut Primer. I'll leave the full name of it down below, but it's super hydrating and it's such a good primer for keeping your makeup on all day. I'm just showing you all the products that I used in Vegas. Obviously you can change it up for things that work for you or anything else. Then I'm going in with my Kevin & Kwan Sensual Skin Enhancer in the shade SX11, and I love this because it's such a good full coverage concealer, and I'm just using this to cover up any redness, any discoloration and blemishes around my skin, and this stuff honestly is so good, it just stays on. Then for foundation, in Vegas, I mixed these two together for the pool party. So I used the Pro Longwear 24-hour waterproof foundation from MAC, and then the Marc Jacobs Remarkable full coverage one. So I used small amounts of both of them to create a really nice full coverage, but I applied just like a light layer of it onto my skin, and then I blended it all out with a damp beauty blender, and as you can see I'm just patting that into the skin, and this is going to give me a super matte kind of finish. So yeah, if it does get hot and oily or greasy in the sun, I'm gonna stay matte with that combination of foundation. Then for concealer, I'm just highlighting with my NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer first, and this is in the shade Ginger, so I'm just taking it underneath the eyes, on the center of my forehead, down the bridge of my nose, on my Cupid's bow, and also on my chin, and then just using my same damp beauty blender sponge, I'm just blending that all out just to ensure everything looks nice and seamless and flawless. So yeah, just patting that all over the skin, never ever rubbing it. Then I'm just going in with the Maybelline Eraser Eye Concealer just to brighten things up in these same areas, and then I just blended it all out, exactly the same. Then you want to set those areas in place, and I'm using my Laura Mercier translucent powder, and I'm using my damp beauty blender to set it all in place. And as you can see, I just keep patting that powder in until it's really nice and soaked into the skin. Basically, I'm baking so that my makeup lasts all day in the heat, no matter what. And then I'm just brushing off any excess powder with a blending, well, not a blending brush, a fluffy brush. And then to set the rest of my face makeup, I'm using my trusty MAC Mineralized Powder Foundation. I'm applying a really small amount of this, and as you can see I'm using a fluffy duo fiber brush, so it's not going to pick up that much product, but yeah, this is just going to hold our makeup in place, and it really does, as well as help us to have that flawless looking skin. Going back onto the eyes, I'm just taking Bitten again by Makeup Geek just on the lower lash line, and then just using a fluffy tapered blending brush, the same one we used earlier actually, just to smoke that out a little bit. And then I'm going back into the Modern Renaissance palette, and I'm using this brown shade called Cypress Umber, and I'm just taking that over the top of Bitten, only along the lower lash line, just to deepen things up a little bit and add some depth. So I'm just going back in with that, and then just blending it out. I will at some point, as you can see. Yeah, there we go. Just to make sure it all looks seamless. And then just using Afterglow pigment again, the same one that we use in the center of our eye, just to brighten up the inner corners. Then you just want a tight line, and I'm using my Sephora waterproof kohl liner, waterproof being the key word. This stuff honestly is so good, it really does stay on. So yeah, I'm just lining the inner waterline on my top lash line. For mascara, I use this L'Oreal False Lash Sculpt Mascara. I found that it worked really well in the heat. I didn't actually dip my face into water with it. If you want to, go for a waterproof mascara, but I found that this was fine in the heat. It didn't crumble, it stayed on, and I love it. For falsies, I'm applying my Huda Beauty lashes in this style Giselle, and I'm just placing them onto my lash line and then just tucking them in at the corners, and then going back in with that kohl liner by Sephora. I'm just lining the lower lash line now, just to kind of complete the eyes. And then finally, I've got my MAC Extended Play Giga Black Lash Mascara, and this is just going on my bottom lashes. This also worked really well in the heat. I obviously didn't go in the water, but well, I did, my body did, but I didn't dip my face in. But yeah, this worked fine. For bronzer, oh my god, I love this. It's a Milani baked bronzer, and this just brings the glow back into your skin. So I'm applying this in the hollows of my cheeks and just along my temples, and then yeah, I just kind of put some a little bit everywhere. But using baked products really brings back a natural kind of sheen and glow. So when you've got a super matte skin, baked bronzers and like blushes and highlighters on top works so nicely over the top of that. Anyways, I'm distracted. For contour, I'm using this Rodial contouring powder in the shade Dark, and I'm just applying this in the hollows of my cheeks, temples, and down the sides of my nose. So just going over that bronzer a little bit, but I didn't really contour too harsh. For highlighter, I've got this MAC highlighter, and I know it's limited edition, but yeah, you can use any. Laura Geller, Anastasia Beverly Hills, Champagne Pop, you name it. Use whichever, but I'm just using a fan brush to kind of layer this up and get it looking really nice and glowy. And then I sprayed the highlighter with my Fix Plus spray and went back in with a little bit more just to make it pop. Then I'm using a Baked Mineralized blusher by MAC, and this is in the shade Warm Soul. This is one of my absolute favorites, and it is perfect for summer. Honestly, it's my favorite blush, and again, it just adds to that glow on the cheeks, so takes away from your skin looking too matte. Then for lips, I've got my Huda Beauty lip contour pencil in the shade Trendsetter, and I am just lining my lips with this. These pencils are fantastic because they are so waxy and they really do stay on. And then for liquid lipstick, I've got my Anastasia Beverly Hills in the shade Stripped, and these are nice and matte, so they will stay on in the heat also. I did prefer to use stay with a matte lip in the heat, but for this look I did decide to use gloss, so you can leave it like that, just all nice and matte. But then I added some gloss for this look, and this is the Tarteist lip gloss in the shade Goals. It really is goals. And I just applied this in the center of my lips. And then finally, you just kind of want to spritz your skin with Fix Plus to make sure all the powders are nice and separated, and then go in with a makeup finishing spray, and this is my Skindinavia one, just to make sure your makeup lasts all day. And this is the finished makeup look, guys. I really hope you enjoyed it. Please make sure you give it a big thumbs up, comment down below, make sure you subscribe if you haven't already, follow me on Snapchat, Instagram, all of the links will be down below, and I'll see you next time. Mwah. Bye.